This is an open meeting under section 19.81 to 19.98 of the Wisconsin State Statutes. You guys have last month's meeting minutes in front of you. Any need for corrections? Anyone? If there are none, I'd look for a motion to approve them.
I motion to approve.
Motion by Joel,
Second?
second by Dan. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Those minutes are approved. All right. Any monthly staff reports, Randy?
Yeah, numbers from May, down a little bit across the board. Namely, adult fitness, once again, that seems to be the new theme after we had lost Courtney as one of our main instructors last year. Not only the number of classes she did, but the popularity she has had. And just haven't recovered from that. I've charged Zach with trying to really focus in on this this fall. Looking for someone new, something innovative, something to just kind of kickstart that for us. So yeah, numbers are just down this May from last May.
Any questions on the report, guys? All right, any communication or correspondence come in, Randy?
Nothing official, no. Like I had mentioned to Todd, the soccer club wanted to come and discuss our memorial bench policy. So they may show up at a future meeting. I've had some discussions with their president, so they'll come in and talk to us, and if you want to discuss further what they were saying, we'll officially put them on the agenda at a future meeting.
All right, no old business, new business administration. We have the 2025 operational budget.
Yeah, so we are in the final stages of turning that into finance. Operational budgets are due this Friday. My hope is to have them turned in no later than this Wednesday. I want to thank the staff, Zach, Melanie, Sarah has taken on quite a bit, quite the help. Brian with his advice on maintenance and parks. So they've had a big hand in helping form this. The only thing I'll really mention is we will be proposing a 2% increase in rec center memberships again in 2025. Last year we held to 0 at the time, namely because of competition and how that was affecting us, and how this has been set up. Almost every other year we'll go 0%, 2%, and last year, or this past year, 24, I should say, happened to be a 0% year. Our numbers of loss have leveled off the last 2-3 months, so we will be moving forward with an increase of 2% on our rec center memberships this year.
Anything else on the budget, Randy? That's fine.
That's what I got.
Okay.
Unless there's questions.
Okay. Item 2 is the pickleball court fundraising update.
Yes. So we have an update there on our fundraising efforts. We've reached an agreement with Westbury Bank. They will donate $5,000 for the next 5 years for a total of $25,000 towards our outdoor pickleball project. So we want to thank Westbury Bank for stepping up. So for their donation, one of the courts will be in their name. We'll kind of follow the process that the high school did with their court naming. So there'll be a sign with their name on it, letting the public know that they had donated that money. And also, I'm very excited to announce that John and Nancy Lee have stepped forward and donated $75,000 toward the pickleball project. The Lees have been very gracious, awesome to work with. And our goal was to raise $75,000 out of the get-go. So this is obviously a really good start for us. So I'm Our budget is set for next year, and the money we have, plus the park funds we'll be utilizing, that will equal 4 pickleball courts and net systems. So that's the phase one. We do have a second phase that'll include 2 more additional courts, fencing, as well as a seating area. Now, of course, if we get donations continuing to come in ahead of time, we would look to do more work next year if we're able to. So, but very excited, and I want to thank Westbury Bank and the Lee family for their generosity.
Thanks to all.
That's awesome.
All right, rec programs and activities, we have no report. Adult and youth sports, no report. Aquatics, we'll have a report on Vets Aquatic Center and the maintenance update.
Yes, so last we met, we talked about the issues we were having with the lazy river. We did go ahead with that plan on the 3 areas that we had identified in the last meeting. We were able to cap those off, which allowed us to open the lazy river, and we have been utilizing that. The byproduct of that is we have not been able to use the tube slide, and we will continue not to be able to use the tube slide for the remainder of the summer, unfortunately. These are the inlets for the water that would go down the tube slide that we have capped off. And when I say capped off, it's a temporary plug that we were able to purchase. So that's what's in there. After plugging those areas, we continue to have substantial water loss, which means we had more issues than just the lazy river. So that meant we had an issue with the leisure pool as well. So we had contacted Burbach Aquatics, who was the original designer of the pool. They had scheduled a diver to come in and do a dye test. So we literally have a diver come in with dye, go towards the drains, the grates, the other areas in the pool. So we had the 1.5-day shutdown at the end of June. That's what that was for. We needed half a day to clear the pool of its chemicals. We couldn't have any chemicals in the pool, and we had to shut down the mechanicals as well, so we couldn't have anything running. So we had them come in, and we were able to narrow the issue down to the diving well. Let me look at my notes here. Where dye testing was successful or unsuccessful, depending on how you look at it, we were losing dye through 2 of those 3 grates in the ground. So those areas are actually contain hydrostatic relief valves, so meaning groundwater was, with the high levels of groundwater we've been having with all the rain, was forcing material back up, which actually made the valve stick open. So we had the diver kind of clean that out, and since the diver was there and was able to clean it out and kind of reset it, our water loss has been much less, but we are still losing water. Now, the good news is the area of the pool, and we'll see this, we'll go over this on our park tour, with it being in the diving well, the area that we think is damaged is between the diving well and the mechanical building, which hopefully means we'll be able to access the damaged area without damaging the shell, the pool shell itself, being able to get to it. And then the other fix we're hoping for with the leisure pool is being able to sleeve those areas where you put a synthetic sleeve right inside the pipe, obviously a little smaller. We don't know that we'll be able to do that yet. So for us, our next steps are, as soon as the season ends, we will have, we'll start with our wastewater people to come camera those areas that we've narrowed down in the leisure pool. It'll be nice because this will be much clearer. When we weren't able to camera that area, can't camera it now because the water's flowing through it. We would need to drain the pool. The reason we were able to camera the lazy river is because we had emptied the pool, but the water that was in those pipes was not clean, was not clear. So we would be able to do that at the end of the season. So that's our next step. So we have a couple of theories on fixes. We won't know anything until we come back, camera the pools. And obviously, the next biggest step with that is what's been the cause and correcting that.
And did Burbach have any insight into that? Have they seen this happen at other facilities where there was, where the grade where you're putting this in? I mean, we all know that that's that water table right there.
Yeah.
I mean, was that talked about, prior to this pool being built and some safeguards in place?
So there is dewatering system in place. It's running. It continually runs. Brian makes adjustments to that as well. And we won't have any solid answers until they are able to come back and see what's in the pipes, which they haven't been able to do.
So then if there's a dewatering system, will that be expanded potentially?
Potentially.
To be able to move more water away from,
If that's one of the things that we need to do, they'll let us know that. So yes, that's been part of the discussion.
but the lazy river, that's gonna have to be partially dug up,
Not if we're able to sleeve it.
okay? But will that prevent in the future, or will that,
We still need
Not
to,
sure.
yeah, we still don't know the reasoning.
Okay.
So that's something, obviously, we need to find out, because this isn't something that we can continually keep doing.
it's just too bad because it's not even 10 years old.
Correct.
Any other questions for Randy?
No, I just, a couple comments. So if you look at the attendance rate between 2023 and 2024, I mean, obviously, we're slightly down in the month of June from last year. But if you look at, I mean, it really, the biggest hit's going to be in the open swim, right? I'm not quite sure that not having that purple slide open is really hurting us, given the fact that I know you guys track water temperature, but one thing you don't haven't tracked is rainfall, you know? So if you look at the morning, and I will just talk about mornings swim myself because I'm out there quite a bit this summer. The morning swim numbers are up. Your morning water walk is up. Your swim team attendance is up. I mean, these are a lot of the programs where we hadn't had to shut down with some of the storms that came through. So, I mean, all in all, I know our numbers are down, but a lot of these areas are still up. So, like I said, I mean, it's not all doom and gloom, and I think what you guys are doing out there is a great job, and you guys are trying to do the best you can. We had a very wet June, and I would say that that's probably 3/4 of the open swim problem, because I can tell you right now, it could rain, and that lifeguard is out there in the mornings with lap swimmers, with the water walkers. They don't care. They've got umbrellas. So those are the areas I want to kind of just point out that I think is doing a great job. And, open swim, it's just going to happen. If it's not a nice day, you want to go. Now, this week, a little bit different. Yeah, I expect it to be,
Probably make up
gangbusters
for
this
it
weekend.
today and tomorrow. So did you have days in June that you actually did not open or you closed because of weather?
So we had, I think, 2 to 3 days that we did not open at all. We had a couple days, probably like 7, that we closed early because of the rain.
Okay.
I'd say the main problem with the weather was that it wasn't fully raining or fully not raining. It was spotty. It would rain for an hour and then it would stop for 3 and then rain again. So people saw that on the forecast and just didn't want to even risk coming to
Right.
the pool. So that, I would say that was our biggest problem with the weather.
Yeah, and that's what I would contend. That's the open swim part. If it's not going to be nice, you're not going to spend the whole day out there.
Right.
So, I mean, all in all, I think, I don't, we have to fix it, of course, but I don't know if that's really been a huge.
When you have maybe 10 days that you either did not open or you closed early, I mean, that's 10 days out of 30. And these numbers are still up. Again, water walk, night swim, those are big.
Yep.
Yeah, just to add to that, I completely agree. There's nice days, and then there's swimming days.
Correct.
Today's a swimming day. Towards the end of this week, when it's going to be really nice, it's going to be high high 70s and low humidity. It was a nice day, but not necessarily a pool day.
Right.
So yeah, we have not had a consistent summer at all. We've had rain every 2 to 3 days since, I believe since April. We haven't had a long stretch. They're forecasting this upcoming weather is the longest stretch of dry that we've had all summer and into the spring. So yeah, we can nailed it on the head.
Anyone else? All right, let's talk attendance and pass sales at vets.
I think Joe nailed it.
Okay?
So yeah, just to reiterate on that, our numbers aren't bad, all things considered. The areas, so like the open swim, being down there, you know, that's where we make our money, is the drop in. And if people aren't attending, you know, our pass sales are actually above where we were a year ago. But once you buy your pass, we're not getting money from those people who
Correct.
attend.
Correct.
But yeah, all things considered, our numbers are, I mean, 3 years in a row, we've exceeded our own expectations. And to be a half step back isn't terrible. You know, of course, we want to keep the trajectory going up. But yeah.
I'd say for the weather and having the, you know, again, I don't think that the tube slide is really hurting that a whole lot. I mean, maybe some disappointment, but I don't think somebody's not going to come because they can't ride the tube down that slide. They're good numbers.
Anyone else? All right, the Hartford Family Aquatic Center, sponsored by the Lutz Family Foundation. Let's talk the pool shutdown and the maintenance project.
So we're shut down for our CIPs once again for August. We'll start draining the pool right after programming on July 31st. Last week, we met with our contractors. We are set to move forward with the demolition of the current slide tower. That will also involve the deconstruction of the slide itself. Don't have all positive news, though. There is a delay in the production of the decking steps. So our steps are going to be designed and very similar to the towers we have at VMAC. There's actually almost, call it like a tray deck that gets placed in. So the manufacturer for that is delayed. So they will not have that in time. So we met, I said, can we disassemble and reassemble the slide and at least have the framework or whatever you need? This is all based around the slide, being able to reconstruct the slide. And we have a plan together where, yes, we will be able to do that. So once again, we will have another slide that we will not be able to utilize until obviously the work is done on the slide tower. We expect that work to be completed, I'm going to say October. And when I say October, early October, we let the contractors know, hey, our open swim programs begin, I believe, the second week of October. No. First week of October, thank you. That's why it was a question, it wasn't a statement. It's really important to have it open for that. I mean, if we don't have the slide, you know, then we would see a dip in numbers. So they know the importance of that. They're not saying they can't come in and still get it done, but right now we're planning for the delay. We will be able to open the pool itself on time as we planned in September. We just won't be able to utilize the slide. Nothing wrong with the slide, there's just no way to get up to the top. So.
And then I anticipate, do you have to close down the pool for a day or two, or is it something they can do to put the steps in fairly quick, like during the day?
I don't
or-
think we would need to shut down the pool because they'll be doing the work with the pool filled. So there's no reason for, the majority of our program that we have is lap swim or exercise classes, which
Right.
take place in the lap lane area. You might have the hindrance of work going on, someone in there. The only time we really couldn't have them working is when we're doing swim lessons.
Right.
And that would be weekends and nights, which I wouldn't foresee them working anyway.
Okay, yeah, and it's open in the afternoon.
Yeah, so yeah, it might be a hindrance to some of the users if it's happening, but we have not made that plan yet.
So the plan is to still reopen after, like the
Correct,
Tuesday
yep.
after Labor Day, as we always have?
That is correct.
Okay.
yes.
Anything else on the aquatic center? All right, let's move on to parks and park project report.
Projects. Let me get to my sheets, sorry. Here, I can answer your questions for you. A lot of work with the Independence Park parking lot. We were hauling in the gravel ourselves to save on cost. Gerald Kranz had done the numbers, worked with us, and got that set up for us. So, and that was actually paved late last week. But that we did have it open on Saturday. We had a softball tournament, and then we had an 80-person rental at the closed shelter. Seeing all the traffic from the tournament on Friday, I made the decision to open the parking lot on Saturday. At a risk, because if someone turns their wheel too hard, it's gonna scuff, and it left some scuffs. So I talked to Payne and Dolan. I said, hey, this is what we got going on. Is it worth it to close it back up? He said, yeah, absolutely. He said, don't worry about the scuffs. He says, that's something, when we come back to paint, they'll be able to fix that. He encouraged us if we can keep people off it for the next 2 to 3 weeks, that would certainly help. I know there's some soccer functions, and we have some rentals, but in discussion with staff, we will continue to keep that parking lot closed to let it cure. Other than that, general shelter maintenance, set up for rentals, I guess mowing and trimming. We were able to finally complete our Independence Park South Diamond electrical. We had electric lines placed underneath the field, so we didn't have to run the generator anymore. So when we do machine pitch leagues, they'll be able to just plug in behind the pitcher's mound. So that's something we've had in the works for a while. We did have the Mill Pond fountains installed. We do have issues. Some of the issues are we need to get back out to them. Currently, we don't have a vessel to get out there. In the past, Charlie Cook has allowed us to use his boat. Charlie would allow us to continue to use his boat, but his boat is out of commission right now as well. A friend of mine, I borrowed his. He's got a really nice duck hunting boat. At least they tell me that. I don't duck hunt, so he allowed us to utilize that, and I didn't want to cash in another favor. We are actively searching we're looking for a John boat. Actually, we've put in a couple offers on Facebook Marketplace. Brian Worth actually took a Saturday to meet a young man down in McGuanago, which no-showed. So hasn't been a good process. So that's kind of the holdup right now is it may be something simple, but we have to get out to them to be able to do that. So all you folks at home, if you have a John boat that we can utilize or for sale, you can contact me at the rec center office. Of course, we had the 4th of July festivities at Independence Park, the fireworks. I thought that went very well. Setup was great. Cleanup, not so much. There's thousands of people there, and not everybody cleans up after themselves. We try to put out as many garbage cans as we can. I think maybe next year I'll suggest putting them a lot more along the walking path. Just in my laps around, that's where I saw most of the litter. But other than that, there was no issues. I thought the show was great. 5-Star Fireworks does a nice job. And the other thing we've had going on is we've had vandalism. I think the Independence bathrooms The shelter itself, not necessarily the bathroom, once inside the bathroom, twice on the outside within the last, I'm going to say, 6 weeks. It's gotten tagged with graffiti.
We have cameras out there.
We do have cameras out there. Sometimes we don't need the cameras when the perpetrators put themselves on social media with their face and picture.
There you go.
So
Right?
I encourage them to keep doing that if they choose to.
I'd encourage that more often, too.
That's special.
Keep bragging.
All right, at this time, we are going to recess for the park tour.
Correct.
And our first stop is Betts Aquatic Center.
Yes. So I have my vehicle if someone would like to ride along. I know traditionally everyone's kind of taken their own vehicles and that's fine. So yeah, we'll go out to Vets Park, check out the pool and the skate park. We'll swing by Candy Cane just to see the playground updates there. We'll head over to Homestead to see, we haven't been out there since the playground was installed. And then we'll talk about future plans there, and then we'll finish up at Centennial with a dinner.